Good morning. Today I'm talking with Polly Shute, who is a partnership and sponsorship consultant working to connect good brands to good causes. Polly is co-founder of Out and About, which is a group that connects the LGBT community through shared experiences, and Polly has also launched Out and Wild, the UK's first wellness festival for queer, questioning and curious women and those who are non-binary. Out and Wild should be happening in the UK this summer. Polly, hello. Lovely to be talking with you.
Yeah, great to speak to you as well, James.
Okay, before we get on to the main topic, please tell me a bit about yourself and your role in supporting LGBTQ rights.
Okay, so I'm a kind of a triple L, I guess, a late life lesbian. I came out at 41, so about 13 years ago now. And once I came out, I was really keen to see where I could support the community and get involved with the community. So probably what I've done most notably was in 2013 I joined the board of Pride in London. I set up their first sponsorship and fundraising team. So by the time when I started, Pride was bringing in about 250k a year. When I left, it was probably around $1 million. So we built that up so that we could effectively, I guess, grow Pride and grow the impact of Pride and make sure there were more stages. So we launched a women's stage and just make sure that we could reach more people as London's, well, it's one of London's biggest events now. So I'm probably best known in terms of what I've done for the LGBT community through the work that I did for 4 years at Pride in London. I've also worked and done some consultancy with Diva, worked closely with Linda, was involved in setting up the first ever Lesbian Visibility Week, which is running again very soon.
Yes.
And I was also involved, it was kind of an idea of mine that I took to Linda's and she backed, and then the rest of the team helped develop and deliver it with me, the Diva Community Channel, which now has, I think, around 12,500 members. So we set that up in lockdown because we knew that the community would be struggling. Never knew how long lockdown would last, but we knew in March that people would want to find a way to be connected. And then ever since then, really, I've just been quite focused on the LGBT community, but particularly from a queer women and a non-binary place, which was just to make sure that there was more focus in those areas, because I felt, particularly during my time at Pride, there wasn't enough that was happening for queer women and those who identify as non-binary.
That is very important, and that's why you felt the need for something directed to those groups, but also a wellness festival. Yes. Yeah,
so I guess that came about a little bit by chance, as these things do sometimes. So when we were setting up Out and About, and we were looking at activities to put on, we set Out and About in January 2021. I think when all of us were hoping we were going to come out of lockdown, and the first thing we decided to do was, well, let's set up a bit of a retreat. And I found this amazing place in Wales, and we set up a long weekend for September, and it literally sold out in minutes. In a day, all the places sold out. And we went to Wales, found this amazing space that looks over the River Clonau. It's private land. It's absolutely beautiful. And when I went and visited it before we did the September weekend, I spoke to the woman who was there, who runs it, and she already had a festival going on in June, and she was very passionate about wanting to do more for women and wanting to support the LGBT community. So we've literally put a festival on after hers. So we use all the infrastructure that she has and the land that she has, and she also does a kind of retreat wellness type festival. But what we've done is taken some of the principles of what we've done, gone and talked to the community, found out what kind of things they'd be interested on, and made it, I would call it probably a wellness festival, but also a festival of experiences. So over the long weekend, there's dozens of different experiences, from paddleboarding, wild swimming, foraging workshops, literature talks, sports activities. We've got five-a-side football pitch, right through to what you'd expect at a festival, music and comedy. So the whole idea is there's lots of different things that you can take part in or you can watch. But I would definitely kind of bill it, I guess, as a festival of wellness and a festival of experiences, where you can just meet other like-minded people and try new things out.
That's quite amazing. So perhaps a bit more detail about Out and Wild? Who is it going to be a little bit like a music festival with some headliners, or is it more sort of structured by topic or types of activity? Who's going to be there and what's going to be happening?
Okay, so yeah, it's not, we don't bill it at all. We do have music, so in the evenings we will have music and comedy, and then at 10 o'clock we switch over to DJ sets. We have silent disco, so you can kind of literally dance under the moonlight, either inside the large marquees that we've got, or kind of outside. So we will have that element of it, but I guess, as I talked about before, it's really about experiences. So the key areas that we focus on are wellness. So we've got Pilates classes, yoga classes, meditation. We've got This Girl Can classes, so This Girl Can classes that happen across the UK. We've got 2 of their instructors coming. We've also got water sports, so we've got wild swimming that you can do in the day and you can do in the evening, and those are completely free. And we're working with Canoe Wales as well, who are coming down with a load of paddle boards, and we'll be offering paddleboard sessions. We're just waiting to confirm the detail on that, but I'm really hoping, Jane, that those will also be free. So we'll have that. We'll have Tasters of Sport, so we'll have hikes that you can do. We've got a 5-a-side football pitch if people fancy a kickabout. And then we've also got quite a lot happening with spoken word. We've got some authors coming that are going to talk around their books. We've got some we've got some best-selling poets. And then we've got workshops. So we've got workshops that range from everything from kind of workshops around foraging and nature through to workshops to do with sexual health and bushcraft. So just lots and lots of different activities that you can take part in during the day. So it isn't just about, it isn't that kind of classic music festival, which I think we've all been to in our youth, where you kind of sit and passively watch bands. This is much more a place where we want people to connect with themselves, connect with others, and connect with nature after what's been a really hard 2 years of lockdown.
That sounds amazing. Is it at all inaccessible? Because I looked on a map, and you have to go a long way into Wales to get there. Is that at all an issue?
It's right in the corner of Pembrokeshire, so it's in South Wales. It's in an absolutely beautiful site. So like a lot of festivals that tend to be kind of, the whole point of having, I guess, a wellness festival is you want to be in a space where there aren't a lot of people around you. So you can get the train to Pembrokeshire, you can get the train to Narberth. We'll be looking to have, for those people that aren't driving, we'll be having regular taxis or shuttle buses that come, and for a small charge they can bring you to the site. Otherwise there's parking, plenty of parking on site for people to come along. And I guess what we'll say is, once you get there and once you see the land and you see the space, it's pretty magical. It's land that's been rated by Forbes, been rated by National Geographic. The woman who runs a retreat there and runs the festival before us, that's been in the Times Best and the Independent Top 20 festivals. So yes, it's a bit of a drive to get there, but that's what a kind of retreat festival is all about. It's about escaping from the city and coming to an absolutely gorgeous, quiet, private, beautiful space where you can just kind of chill out completely.
I'm not an enormously country person, but it's tempting me ever so slightly. Have you hit any road bumps because it's trans inclusive? I know that this is an awful thing to ask, but people nowadays keep objecting to that. Has that been at any level an issue?
We've hit a few. We've had a few people who've asked if it's. We've had it both ways, Jane. I mean, probably the saddest thing for me actually is the people that ring up who are trans, who ask, are they allowed to come, and they're trans women. Which, as somebody that works, I'm a director at Trans in the City, and I'm very passionate about trans equality. It makes me really sad that they have to ring up and ask, even if they Googled me, that they still feel they've got to ring up and just double check. And we've had one person who's rung me directly, and about 2 or 3 people that have emailed saying we'd like to come along. It sounds like something that would be really useful for us, particularly from a kind of well-being point of view. But is it inclusive? And absolutely it is. And And then we've had a few, not a lot, we've had a few people who have just asked why we're not calling it a lesbian festival. And that's because, you know, although I'm a very proud lesbian is just one part of the queer mix, and that's why we've been quite focused on calling it a festival for queer women. And the questioning and curious part is, we know as well there's a big bi community out there. There's a lot of people who do question their sexuality or gender, and we want to make sure we're open to them. So yeah, we've had a bit of feedback, and I know from the time that I've done at Pride, and I also do quite a lot of work in diversity and inclusion, I know queer can be a challenging word to use.
Oh yes.
And it is difficult to get across that you're inclusive and open to everybody. But we've also been very, very much focused on the fact that this is designed for queer women and those who are non-binary. So that doesn't mean that gay men can't come along. It doesn't mean that people that are straight can't come along. It's open to all. But you know, there are so many festivals and so many events that are completely focused around queer men. We think it's important to have, you know, another one that is absolutely focused on queer women and those who are non-binary.
That makes sense. So how much will it cost, and how do I find out more? Where, I take it there's a website address.
There's a website, so you can just type in Out and Wild Festival and Google will find you, or there is a website address which is www.beoutlandabout stroke /Out and Wild Festival, that you can find it by. But it's pretty easy if you type it in, Out and Wild, into Google, you can find us. And we're also on Instagram at Be Out and About LGBTQ, and we're also on Facebook under the same address. Tickets, we're just finishing. We've been quite busy with early bird tickets, so we put one phase of early bird tickets on, which sold out very quickly. We just today actually closing down the last early bird tickets. So at the moment, if you want to get a ticket, they start at £100 for a no camping ticket. So if you want to come along and stay somewhere locally, they're £100. You can buy day tickets for £40. This is all with booking fees on top. Or you can buy a weekend ticket, which includes your camping and all the activities that I've spoken about, for £135.
Okay, that sounds good. Right, thank you very much, Polly. I wish I could say I'll be there, but sadly I am one of those people who are still clinically vulnerable, so I won't. I will be there in spirit. My hope is one day I might even be there on stage, because I've got my own performance to bring, but like I say, I'm still shielding, sheltering, whatever the word is. Thank you very much for speaking.
It's been lovely to talk to you, Jane, and I hope, I know we spoke off video a little bit about some of the challenges that the trans community are facing, and I think it's really important for me to kind of reiterate that this is a festival for all women, and that means trans women, that means those who identify as non-binary, and it will be a fun space, but it will also be a safe and supportive space. And one of the benefits of it being in a little village without anything by it is you're not going to have people wandering onto the site. So we think it will be a really safe place for people to come and not have to worry about who they're going to bump into when they go outside the festival gates.
Okay, thank you very much.